Hey, welcome to episode 167 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We're recording on June the 26th, 2022. My name's Eric, host of the show, based in Southern Ontario, hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator. I know that one's shocking. And computer geek. Started a small preparedness company as well to help people get prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer.
I don't think you're surprising anybody by saying you're
I know,
geek of
right?
sorts.
Yeah, if they've listened to like the last 165 episodes.
Yeah, just as sure as I'm paranoid. Anyway, my name is Ian. I'm a hermit regretting my lack of air conditioning on Vancouver Island.
I feel your pain.
I'm Alan. I'm a safety trainer, first responder, security expert, overall safety nerd, and Ian, you're only paranoid if people aren't after you.
Well, just because they are, just because I am paranoid doesn't mean they're not after me.
Valid.
Fair point.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe one of those episodes, huh?
I'm Scott.
One of those episodes.
I'm Scott,
time,
first
Scott.
responder from Ontario. I like learning things, and I worry about our fragile infrastructure and my friend's sanity.
I worry about Scott's intro, apparently.
And I'm Jeff. I'm based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
And I'm Brad. I'm in Eastern Ontario. Consider myself a part-time amateur prepper who's constantly trying to better himself. And if you want to help support the show and keep the Canadian Prepper Podcast on the air, you can buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the tactical Velcro patch at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All the proceeds help keep the lights on and the backup generator fueled.
And if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes and like us on Facebook and submit a review on iTunes. We also want your feedback, good or bad, or if there's a topic you would like us to cover, please email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
Okay, so we've got some frugal content for you in this episode. We're going to start off with some recent news. We're going to update you on what we've done for our own preparedness, and then we're going to get into the main topic, garage sale prepping. So let's move into the news.
I've been avoiding the news this week, and I think I've made the right choice. So I will pass my turn.
Fair enough.
why? It's not like anything controversial has come up in the last week or anything.
No, not at all.
No spoilers.
Yeah, we won't go there. All right. As for myself, actually, thanks Coyote from the Discord group who let me know that CN workers were on strike. I didn't realize there was a rail strike going on in Canada. I mean, I should probably notice by now, but anyways, yeah. So supposedly, I don't know if they're still on strike, but as of last week, they were. That could be,
From what I've heard, they're still on strike.
yeah.
It's not the engineers and all that. It's more, I don't know that, but they're saying they can run 75% with management staff. So that tells you that they're way overmanaged, like every other government corporation.
Oh, overmanaged and underled is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Out loud, yes.
Yes.
With my outside voice.
So I guess it must be yard workers or something. But yeah, that's very interesting. Anyway. Other one I had was the G7 nations are banning Russian gold imports. Now, I'm no expert, but I did watch Goldfinger, and I know that you can sell gold to a third-party country that isn't affected. They can melt it down, restamp it, and sell it themselves. So I don't know if they know how gold exchanges work, but I don't think they're going to prevent much there.
Just seems like the same thing with more steps and probably higher cost as a result.
Yeah, but they'll still be able to sell it. And I mean, obviously, if they were importing Russian gold to begin with, there's obviously a market shortage, which they're still going to need to fill somehow, which they'll probably end up buying off China, who buys off Russia, and so on and so on. And yeah, it's
accomplished nothing.
Pretty much, just like their oil embargo. So interesting. Yeah,
It's just made things more expensive and not made anything better.
Yeah, more to come on this one. Diesel engine oil. I've heard there's a shortage coming on diesel engine oil, but I have nothing to prove that with. So hopefully next week I'll get back to you with some more stories. If anybody hears something for sure, let me know. And that's what.
Or hopefully not.
Or hopefully not. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Preferably not.
So I've got one just kind of based off of an episode we did maybe 3 episodes ago on search and rescue. The OPP rescued 2 American seniors. They were 88 and 79 who were lost in the bush in Northern Ontario for 6 days. These 2 guys, I haven't kind of really got any backstory on it, but clearly they had a bit of, even though their age, they had some common sense about them. They basically stayed where they were. They camped out near a source of fresh water and had some food stock that they had brought with them. And the police first found their found their motorhome, couldn't find them. They had made a flag out of a tarp that they had, and somehow they were able to get the flag up, and they were able to see them and go and rescue them.
It fills my heart with joy when I hear things like this. This is an example of everything going right, except not getting lost in the first place, right? It's one of those moments where something happens and they kept their head. And the only point I'm going to dispute with you, Jeff, is you got to call it good sense. If it was common sense, more people would have it.
It's more like a superpower, isn't it?
Yep. No, it's a great example of everything that went right, and I'm so happy that it was such a positive result.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a good one to see. Sounds like
Yeah,
they had somewhat of a plan at least.
It's not common that people of that extreme age, Scott, that they don't that they survive.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
like
Scott. Yeah.
You young whippersnappers don't want to delve into the dangerous grounds here, so I'm going to do it for you.
Oh no.
Some political stuff in the States. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. Some Supreme Court things.
Where's the mute button for Scott? How do we do that?
Yeah, it's on my end now. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. This isn't a podcast about politics. But the political instability that is resulting from what's been going on in the States and will likely spill over into sort of most of North America, I'm just paying attention to that as, well, it's just part of my threat assessment. It's poked up on my radar because it's the potential to add more disruption to an already chaotic kind of few years.
Yeah.
I'll be a good boy and stay out of the politics too. However, I will actually note. I will note.
Just remember, guys, everything before the butt is bullshit.
That's right. I'm actually blown away as Canadians how we follow, like, we don't follow British politics with the same fervor we do U.S. politics, and yet we have more of a common political and historical link with Britain than we do the States. It's just that, I know they're our neighbor and everything else, but man, we almost follow it like it's our own politics, whether it be like instituting our own reasons for gun control or whatever because of something that happens down there. And so on and so on.
But a bar fight in England isn't going to spill over into Canada, right? Whereas a bar fight in the US could very readily drag us into it.
No, it just makes it easier to watch. Now you can just go up to the border. You can just get the popcorn and go up to the border and go, this is so cool. But, it shouldn't theoretically affect us, but of course it does. And so good idea on the threat assessment, Scott, for sure. Because, who knows, right? Some people might decide to, sympathetically protest whatever their belief may be. And before you know it, it's affecting us. So, yeah, fair statement for sure.
So
I was going to say the same thing.
That's the only reason.
Yeah,
guaranteed there's going to be some protest somewhere, and you're just going to want to be aware of the fact that it could maybe pop up in your neighborhood. So
yeah, it's not like we've ever said, "Oh my God, did you watch that last British election? This is absolute BS. I can't believe that." It's like, does anybody even know all the political parties in Britain? Like, no, not even close, right?
There's a Labour Party.
Crumpets,
the crumpets, and the tea men or something like that. I don't know what it is.
The tea at high noon, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
Lord Earl Grey or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh boy! All right, before this gets any worse, let's get into what we've done lately for preps.
I've played a bit with radios and worked. Nothing terribly exciting.
Well, there you go.
I'm preparing for my new shed to arrive in a week or so, and work, and a little bit more work. That's it.
And I don't feel sorry for anybody that has to work. I had to do some plumbing repairs. My second time in about 3 months. This time my water heater decided that it was going to start leaking. So, anyways, it was good. A couple of friends come over, kind of gave me some pointers, and it actually went a little easier than I thought. Just had the biggest issue was not related to the hot water heater, believe it or not. There was a shutoff valve that hadn't been used for a long time. So when I used it and, of course, pressured up the system, it decided that it wanted to leak worse than anything. So I had to take that out and repair it, replace the valve. And so outside of that, I have a new water heater and I'm good to go.
Nice.
Gas, electric?
Electric, unfortunately.
Do they still rent water heaters in Ontario?
Oh yeah, still a big thing.
Sadly, yes.
What a scam.
Oh yeah, huge scam.
Oh, yep.
So for myself, I'm going to mirror pretty much the rest of the panel. It was a crazy, insane week with work. It was all over the place, and between doing work and such, just appointments for the little one, just getting a few things squared away. Everything's still looking good, but we're just doing some checks and all that kind of fun stuff that the doctors want to do. So it's been a couple of days in and out of hospital as well. So
Oh, everything as well. Yeah. Anyway, as for myself, just more firewood stacking, of course. Chicken feed success. They had a shortage on the island. I found a workaround. They still don't have any of the chicken feed we normally get, but I found some other stuff that kind of works. And anyways, managed to top up the chicken feed on that to maintain the supply. Same thing with the grocery run, just to make sure everything stays topped up. The island mentor came over, obviously found my solar problem, which turned out to be a short one of the MC4 connectors. That was, to the naked eye, looked normal, but it was not. So that was that. And work. Yeah, I guess a bit of a change for work. I didn't tell you guys about yet. A dubious promotion at work. I'm going to be spending a little more time in Toronto as of next year, so I'll be seeing you guys a lot more.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Time to move. Time to move.
Instead of time for you guys to move out west, and yeah.
Or we put a few phone calls in and just prevent you from coming into Toronto.
Yeah, so I will be finding a new alternate location there. I'm probably spending half the month there anyway.
Don't worry. Once he lands at Pearson, it's going to take him like 8 months to get out of the airport. We won't have to worry about it. His contract will be up.
Well, judging by customs lineups and lineups for security and everything else, you're probably right. Anyway.
And then we'll all make some calls as well. And yeah, you're never getting out.
Fair enough. Be like Tom Hanks in the terminal there. Start living there.
Yeah.
I didn't get much done this weekend. Actually managed to get a little bit of woodwork done. Had an old log that was, it's been on the ground for, I guess, 3 years now. It was part of my original home gym setup. I could flip that thing around and toss it about, and I lived a good life. But it is now cut down and split into firewood. Replaced the handle on my splitting maul to do that splitting, and then promptly broke it again. And I've been doing that between trying to rehab my ankle, which has been going not as well as I want it to. So, yeah, doing that, and then working a little bit of overtime this week because I'm transitioning to a new project coming out middle of next month. So, starting to wrap things up where I am now and get ready to move on.
Awesome. Well, with that, let's move into the main topic, shall we?
All right. So why are we talking about this tonight? Well, there's a couple good reasons. If you're paranoid like myself, hey, garage sales are untrackable from the man.
You're assuming you're not being followed.
Yeah, or they don't have chips in the money, or the satellite doesn't track me, or whatever. Yeah.
Or they might be bought or bugged.
Yeah.
I'm picturing you in the Groucho Marx glasses with the nose and the plastic mustache.
Yeah, but that ABC plumbing truck is still following me around every time I go to one of these garage sales. But
Flowers by Irene. Yeah,
that's right.
Not FBI surveillance van. Wi-Fi.
Acme moving and storage.
Totally not feds. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Well, in reality, cash deals at a discount usually. So you can introduce yourself to bartering, or even I guess negotiating prices, dickering as it's called. Yeah, so you can usually get a pretty good deal at a garage sale. If not, sometimes they give you stuff that they think is worthless.
Oh yeah,
true.
I got an entire box of tools for. I think I gave the guy $5 and a couple and like a donut or something, and I got like a tool chest, that was probably worth about $200 by itself, and it was just jam packed full of hand tools. Oh. It was a fantastic deal. The guy just didn't want it. It was the end of the day, and nobody had bought it. And he'd had it out originally for like $50, which by itself was a great deal.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "What do you take for it?" And I said, he said, you know, give me $10 for it. I said, I'm on my way to get coffee. Do you want one? I'll grab it on the way back. And he said, you bring me a donut, it's $5. So
Nice.
okay, I think I brought him 2.
Yeah, solid plan. I'd give him a
I would
dozen
have
at that
brought him
point.
a
Yeah.
dozen.
Yeah. So obviously, with today's supply chain issues, it's a good workaround for that. So we can certainly go to the garage sale and maybe stock up or pad up our preps. So
Well,
good.
and I really like that you can buy the old timey stuff that you can't buy in stores anymore. Sort of, you know, that old hand tool, that, you know, a hand drill or something like that. It's so much
Yankee
easier.
screwdriver.
Does it take you back to a simpler time?
Oh, back to,
Make
you know,
feel better?
When he was in his 30s, you know,
Back to
Yankee
youth.
screwdrivers were a
Yankee,
thing.
yeah, Yankee screwdriver. And
just a young man. Yeah,
Yeah.
so good back then.
Yay.
All right, what should we look out for, Eric?
Well, I think first off, we'll take it away from Scott and just say you're not going to find any wood gasifiers. I don't think.
you don't know that.
Bite your tongue.
Unless you go to Scott's.
15
If
minutes and
Scott's having a
54
garage sale,
seconds.
you might have a wood gasifier if you get
But
to Scott's.
you
place for
can-
It's
sure.
more a Kijiji item, admittedly.
Wood
enough,
gasifier components, though, like expired propane
There we
tanks.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, all right, there we go.
Shop
You picked up on the
vacs.
segue. Yeah.
Shop vacs,
Yep.
or even
Mhm.
even old NPT pipe cutting fittings. Anyways, the gas fittings. Anyway, the more heavy duty stuff. I mean, yeah, you could certainly find something like that for your wood gasifier if you're following Ben's book.
Absolutely could. Or propane tanks. All those kinds of things.
Yeah, because once they're expired, in most people's eyes, they're useless. I mean, they're still
Yep.
good, and they still have valuable hardware on them.
Yep, they sure do.
Absolutely.
I knew a guy not too far away outside of Ottawa who would take a propane tank and make a small wood stove out of it.
Oh,
Yeah, some guys make like
Really?
egg smokers and everything out of them. Like,
Yeah.
pro tip
nice.
though, generally don't put a torch to it before you purge the tank.
I was gonna say purge the tank.
Take the handle
And
off.
why would that be? Come on.
Fill it with water first. You gotta displace all the gas.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm-
Davey's in the chat here. He says, whoops, that was the wrong comment. Sorry. Davey's in the chat here, says you can buy 3.5-inch discs.
So you
Okay.
can throw them at people.
And what? Like use them as coasters?
2 HDD,
I-
baby.
I rather enjoy this one. IDE hard drives.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
For those that
but
know,
why-
you're
sure,
laughing.
You can, but why?
Because why not?
Sometimes you can find good punch cards too.
Yeah,
Yeah, here we go.
that's a contradiction in terms.
Some
Right there.
laser discs, perhaps. Yep.
But a great thing to look for is cast iron. Like you can find
100%.
100-year-old cast iron, and you'll find it for a few bucks, and it's already seasoned because it's been used for a century, and
Yep.
it is just as good as the day that it was made because it's cast iron and it will last for absolutely ever.
And I think all of us on the panel had that on our list in the show notes.
Well,
I,
and
Definitely
have, you
something to
seen,
look for.
have you seen the price for new cast iron?
it's not worth it.
Absolutely atrocious.
Well,
And
it used to be at Princess Auto. You get like the two small, like the the 4-inch and the 6-inch one for like $5 a piece, and now they're like at a 30 on top of that or something.
at least.
And but also super big bonus, like the ceramic coated cast iron that you'd get at Canadian Tire, and they charge you an arm and a leg for. Even if you wait for the 50% off sale at Canadian Tire, it's not a great deal. It's still pretty pricey, but the ceramic stuff that is already doesn't require seasoning, doesn't rust, easier cleanup and everything else. It is gold. Like you can put that stuff on top of a fireplace, in a fire, or whatever on top of your stove, obviously. But yeah, cast iron is just
And inside, you can put them in the oven, put something in it, throw it in the oven itself, and you don't have to worry about burning handles or anything like that.
yeah. And I mean, most people don't even know how to use a Dutch oven or know what it is. So if you see one, it's usually you'll probably be the only person like negotiating on it.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. In our family, we've got I've got a whole army of thrifters and garage sailors, and the rule is you find cast iron, you get it. Because the worst case, I'm going to tidy it up and resell it for a profit. That's my
that's a
absolute
good
worst
point.
case with it. But I've got 8 or 10 cast iron pans that'll last me. I'll be able to pass those on to my kids when they grow up. So
Yeah, Chris actually points out, he goes, on the flip side, is it worth it to host a garage sale? A few hours of your time to get less than hourly wage.
So, are you going to make money on it? No, probably not in reality. But you clear out space to bring in new toys. But more than that, you get to have a discussion with somebody who wants something that you have. and that's there's a networking component there that you get to meet somebody, and they want your surplus cast iron, and what do you use it for? Well, the end of the world is coming, and I want to make sure that I'm well prepared. Boy, do we have something to talk about, right? Or your canning supplies.
Friends.
If you've got surplus canning supplies, all right, like let's say you've decided to standardize all of your jars to 1 or 2 sizes, and you're selling off the rest. What do you can, right? You can maybe you can come up with, maybe you can meet somebody that wants to buy your canning supplies, and maybe they want to trade something, or maybe they can can something that you can't, and you can learn something from them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options there.
Yeah, and the good part about that too is you're most likely drawing from local area. You're not going to get people coming from hours and hours and hours away. So you're making contacts with people you might not necessarily talk to on a daily basis. You might see them in passing, but it really does give you the opportunity to open up that dialogue with people.
Yep.
And as KP says, you get paid to clear out your garage, even if it's paid poorly.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Yep. And even if you're only getting beer money out of it, at least you're still getting beer money out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess if you got greedy neighbors, you're appealing to their recycling side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Next on the list here, clothing for go bags or car kits, etc. So there's always going to be clothing at garage sales, and you see something that you might be able to throw in your bag or in the back of your car for that scenario where you need something.
Yep.
Why not?
Even if it's a top layer, a windbreaker, a coat.
Yep.
Right. You can usually find that stuff. You can also find bags.
Yeah.
Right. And find a nice new or a new to you duffel bag that's in good condition. I was at a garage sale a few years ago where a guy had purchased all of his hunting gear and had several years of supplies, and he'd been hunting for a number of years, but decided he wasn't going to pursue it any further. So all of his camo, all of his bags, all of his archery equipment was all out, and by the time I got there, most of it had been picked over, but a lot of that stuff was still right there, and I was able to pick up some rainwear, some rain gear.
Nice. Yeah, and as Kyle points out, lots of people will buy kids' clothes. I mean, if you have clothes that are basically your kids are done with that stage of their life and everything else, and probably wore it 2 or 3 times before they outgrew it anyway. It's a huge turnover for yourself, or if you want to get rid of it too. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and
absolutely.
Anything you're bringing into the house, you should be washing it first. Don't ever buy new kids' clothes. It's definitely not worth the effort. I mean,
but spares for the bug out bags and everything else. I mean, that's just a cheap spare to have, right?
Absolutely, it is. What's on the list here? Board, card games, and puzzles. As we've talked about that over many different episodes about just boredom kills, right?
Absolutely.
Except for that 51 card deck that you bought off the garage sale, and it's missing the ace of spades or something. And
yeah, true. Yeah, count all the cards first.
Yeah,
make sure they're all there.
I'm not sure how much money Monopoly is supposed to have, but
count that too. If anybody questions you, just say Ian told me to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think everybody had this on their list already. Tools, either hand tools or electric, because they're still useful. The EMP has not happened yet, so if you can find a good deal on an electric tool, why not? But look out for the hand tools.
And especially if you can add to your existing battery supply, right? So if they're selling the same brand that you have, whether you're a DeWalt or Milwaukee or Makita or Ryobi person, whatever it may be, especially if you can add on to your existing battery type, then you're kind of double bonus there.
Well, actually, on that note too, is like for specific tools. I mean, sweet saws, you did easy one as far as that goes. There's plenty of uses for that, whether it be like just trying to get a log off the road if you're out in the ground land or whatever, or having a hand buck up your own lumber, I guess, for the fireplace. But also, I mean, just it can double as a construction saw in a pinch, I suppose. But the hand drill, obviously, with the EMP aspect. But carpenter saws, anything like that, they're just like handy to have around just for small jobs. Not worth breaking out the power tool for. It's definitely a thing. But even like the old Craftsman tools, I mean, now I guess they don't do Craftsman tools anymore for the warranty. But what's the newest one now with Canadian Tire? Don't they have like a Mastercraft?
Mastercraft, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same idea. You get a Mastercraft set, guaranteed for life. As long as the company's still around, as we learned from Craftsman. But yeah, I mean, you might get a cheap set of screwdrivers, and therefore you have a set of screwdrivers for life now because you got a set for $20 or whatever. So,
or if you need you want a second set to throw in your truck kit or your bug out kit, then it's a good cheap way to get into that.
Yeah, of course, you look at that socket set that you're going to want to buy, and it's always missing the 10 millimeter and half inch. Never. Come on.
That's the way they come from the store, isn't it?
It's pretty much missing those two. Yeah, the struggle is real, man.
It is.
I definitely understand that one.
So Dan's got some tips for us in the live chat here. If you want to make extra cash during your garage sale, get the kids to set up a lemonade stand. That's where the real money is.
Well, until the government taxes you, and then they want to charge you for not having a business license or something. I mean,
it's always a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
So I've got my list here. I think everybody else had mentioned this as well in their lists, but canning supplies. I think that's a given. Keep your eyes open for that.
Well, and again, like the price of those jars have gone up stupid.
Yeah.
And now again, the lids are back in store, but I've noticed that it's basically just the regular size lids, not the wide mouth. Still can't find wide mouth lids over here to save your life. So
Walmart close to me has abundance of them. Every time I go in, I try to pick up. I don't even can yet. Every time I go in, I try to get a package of lids or a couple flats of jars and some rings and whatnot, stocking up for when we do that. But they're in stock.
Doo-doo.
Oh no! What have you done?
We're all
Do we have to
five on
hit the
inside.
explicit button for that?
I don't think
not
so.
quite yet. No,
it was the time I said shit show in the intro.
Oh yeah.
There is the explicit button.
Yeah,
There it
just
is.
fuck it, Eric. Just hit it. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
There it is. All right, I'll hit the button.
So yeah, with the canning supplies too, yeah. So the wide mouth basin lids for us is an issue, but like you said, Brad, I mean, like even the rubber rings, if you're having the old timey glass jars like Scott would use, or like the glass lids.
Yeah, except when Scott got them, they were called newfangled glass jars.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's when they stopped using the
New
lead,
technology.
Yeah, they stopped using the lead soldering for the cans and stuff. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't seen it here, but I know Carmen, our canning expert, and maybe even Ian out there, that some of the stores are actually limiting the amount of stuff you can buy. Like, you can only buy a couple of boxes of lids or something, and they're actually putting a limit on what you can get.
I think they do that naturally now because they only put one or two out at a time, it seems. But anyway, yeah, it's a thing for sure.
It is.
I like textbooks as an item. That's really interesting, right? Whatever, they're probably a little bit out of date, but whatever topic, you might be able to find some reference material. Maybe avoid accounting 250, but any kind of woodworking or mechanical or whatever.
Gardening. The Home Depot Home Improvement 1, 2, 3 books.
I have those from
25
years ago.
I've got those from Home Depot, like the electrical 1, 2, 3, the plumbing 1, 2, 3, that kind of stuff. So they're actually handy to have.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, you got your hot water tank replaced, so
there you go.
Yep.
Learn something from it, obviously. And the accounting 2 book would be useful if you have to go to sleep, right?
That is
yes, absolutely. That or the Occupational Health and Safety Act for Ontario. That's the best set of
a good nap time book.
And on that note, actually, it was first aid manuals, like the old St. John's first aid manual. It might be from the 60s, but people still bleed the same way they did back then. So, old first aid.
Scott, are you able to confirm that?
That is very much true. Blood is still about the same color.
Air still goes in and out. Blood still goes round and round, and deviations are still bad.
But they don't bleed people to make them healthier anymore, do they?
We still use leeches occasionally. What's old is new again.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Actually, I have a colleague who's she's American, but she was in my area for a while. She's a veterinarian. She had a dog bite, and the care that the province was going to provide was just dressing changes, and they were planning to do that for several years while they let it heal on its own. She took matters into her own hands, got some leeches, got some maggots eventually, and cleared the whole thing up down to scar tissue in like 6 months.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I think maggots only eat dead skin or dead flesh, right?
Yep,
so they'll sit there, actually stop at the live skin and just eat everything that's actually necrotic, and then there actually is some science behind that.
Yep, absolutely. It's been a thing for hundreds of years, and we kind of got away from it because they're gross. But they actually made really good fishing bait after she was done. She and I went fishing and caught some big bass.
Recycling.
And then the leeches, when they do microsurgery, it's easier to attach the arteries. The veins are really hard to do. So if you have the leeches draining the blood from that tissue, you get flow through, and it's better for the tissue.
Well, it's anticoagulant. They with their bites, right? Like they incite blood flow. That's what I understand. So yeah,
but because you can retouch the arteries more easily than the little tiny veins, if it's not draining because the veins aren't reattached, the tissue is going to die. If the blood goes in the artery, delivers oxygen, nutrients, and then the leeches take it out from there, it's as if it were draining through the vein system. So it sort of mimics that and helps with those sort of very small small injuries that you can't surgically repair.
So it turns out those swamps in Alberta had health benefits, is what you're saying.
Shocking.
Yeah, weird.
Right. Another thing to keep an eye out for: bicycles. Because why not?
They're every garage sale starts with a bicycle. I'm sure like 80, 85, 95%.
And again, it's one of those, if you find a bicycle that needs $5 worth of parts or whatever, just a set of brake shoes or a new tube for the tire, might be not worth
go down the street to the next garage sale and grab those, and then there we go.
Not worth their time to fix, but
my father-in-law just within the last month got a brand new CCM like last season. Paid $75 for it. It's still on the shelf at Canadian Tire for $700.
Wow.
Paid $75 for it, and it's brand new. Didn't even have to replace the even have to change the tubes in the tires. Just had to add air. But somebody bought it, didn't like it, sold it off dirt cheap.
Nice.
And I sort of look at sort of ugly scenarios where transportation is all going to be human powered. So if you have a bicycle, you are so far ahead of anyone else who's just hoofing it on their own feet.
I have every intention of converting my car into a Fred Flintstone mobile so we can have 4-foot power.
Well, as long as you wrap your heels.
That's how I learned to drive.
Yeah, wrap your heels through a tape or something, just to, like, prevent wear on the heel when you cut for the braking. But yeah, that works.
You build up calluses, it's fine.
Where would we be without garbage cans for making a little EMP Faraday cage? Why not keep your eyes open for those?
Just make sure that the garbage can that you're trying to buy is actually for sale. It's not just like the guy's garbage can. Although everything's for sale for the right price, but it might not be as good a deal as you want it to be.
Well, you skipped over storage buckets, but the same idea there. Like, I mean, every acreage and house needs buckets for everything from hauling your alpaca poop to hauling your water or whatever. I mean, there's always a use for it, even storing your rice in if need be.
Ideally, not the same bucket for
not in that order either. Yeah, if you preferably do it like in reverse order there. But anyway, yeah, no, there's definitely multiple uses for it, even if you just keep the rats away from your preps.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and to go with the textbooks, why not some novels?
Yeah.
Same with cards and games, right? Entertainment value.
Yep. Exactly. And then I threw this one in for Carmen, old sewing machines, because why not?
Well, she's been the 100% that one. Yeah. I think she's making a killing on those.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely. And again, even if it's a barter item, but it's being able to make and repair your own kit, fantastic.
Yep.
Well, it's another skill set, right? If you can, offer up repair services or just repair your own stuff. I mean, I haven't touched a sewing machine since home ec in grade 9, but it's definitely worth it.
Either. Yeah.
That was foot powered back then.
Actually, I think we just hooked up the big 12 volts to it, and got the Tesla coil fired up, and
the fancy ones.
The new stuff then.
Yeah.
and of course, at the bottom of my list, just to keep the anticipation building, old radios, ham radio gear. I know everybody thought I'd probably have that at the top of my list, but
and
put it at the bottom to build up the anticipation.
To be a very good point in the fact that, like, a lot of the older stuff is EMP proof because it's on vacuum tubes versus actually like printed circuit boards. So there would actually be some merit to that for sure, especially if it still works, because you guarantee the guy that's selling it probably babied it the whole way through.
Almost guaranteed. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll want to talk your ear off about it afterwards too. So
yep,
and I'd be happy to see it's going somewhere nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you pay some attention to the old radios, you're definitely gonna spark up a conversation for sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. I did not want to read that one from Davey there, but
Oh, come on, that's baiting. Come on.
yeah,
Don't spend the extra money. Buy a new CO detector. They do have a shelf life.
they do have an expiry date.
They absolutely have an expiry date. From the day they're plugged in, it's usually 10 years. So just buy the new ones.
And actually, see here, Kyle brings up a good point. Everybody brought kayaks and canoes during the pandemic. Might find a good deal on those now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least for exercise, but maybe on a really obscure bug out plan, you could, plan to do that.
Four-wheelers, dirt bikes, canoes, kayaks, camping
All those-
equipment.
Four-wheelers and dirt bikes right now are still incredibly expensive, used ones.
Oh yeah.
They haven't, because a lot of the dealerships don't even have new ones. So if you've got a used one, I know a guy that just sold a 4-year-old ATV, and he sold it for $500 less than he bought it brand new.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that if there's an oil shortage or something, so maybe there'll be some sort of a mass panic to get rid of some of this stuff or something. But
since Alan got baited there, I'll put this comment up. It's from Kyle. Says, "Don't forget CGN deals."
well, is that really an Alan thing? I don't know.
No, that's for you, Ian.
No, that's for you. That's for you.
Kyle's
Alan
stats.
just
Is
got
that fair
baited
that
for
he
the carbon
puts the bait
monoxide.
out there for his own stats.
I was gonna say, yeah, no. For CGN deals, honestly, like right now, there are no deals on CGN. I mean, yeah, it's so funny because of the handgun panic and even the change in registration and everything else, sales have died off on non-restricted stuff. Well, handguns are an unobtainium for anything that's quality. It isn't like a obscure revolver from the 1960s in 38 Wayland or something like that. Yeah, Melissa points out your can openers.
I don't know how that wasn't at the top of the list.
Okay, but
from the last episode,
dollar store,
the new currency.
Yeah, it beats
maybe
cigarettes.
You
I
can get
suppose.
a fancy can opener. Maybe it's engraved or something cool, or who knows? You might find something really neat.
Well, he should have put that right at the top of the list, but he didn't.
I know. I don't know how it didn't get to the top of the list, considering
Because we're reading your list, Eric.
Yeah, I should have put it at the top of the list.
Well, Brad
That's what
should
I've
have
been saying.
taken the initiative and done it. But anyway, speaking of canning, though, one thing we didn't mention though was the actual pressure canner itself. I think I've mentioned it before in other episodes, but yeah, if you're going to get a pressure canner versus even a water bath canner, sure, why not? Water bath canner would probably be $5 at a garage sale. Pressure canner, well, I would try and get it below $100, but I don't know if they know what they have or not. But that's definitely a place to get a huge discount on new price.
Yeah, you would have to find somebody who kind of doesn't really know what they've got, because if they know what they've got, you're gonna pay dearly for it.
Yeah,
or if they're clearing out an estate.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
We're still that's where we lucked out, because I think it was an estate clearance, and for $80 we got the All American there, and that was fantastic. But we ended up putting $20 worth of parts into it. We just phoned All American and asked them where we could find the stuff or what they could send us. We had to do a hybrid thing. They sent us some stuff. We went to Home Hardware for some stuff, and boom, $400 pressure canner for about $120.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so lucky, but we haven't seen anything like that since. So anyway, since we're talking CGN, accessories for the boomsticks, whether it be gun cleaning kits or even gun cases, gun lockers, the actual storage containers, the gun safes. I mean, you'd be shocked at how much kids that have parents on the island here that the kids are living on the mainland, they don't want to move any of this stuff. They'll try and sell it out for 10 cents on the dollar. I think gun cleaning kits running about $20 at Cabela's right now. You might get it for $2 or $3 a piece at a garage sale, because the gun owner died and it's worthless to them, right? Back up until recently, you could seriously buy 22s and stuff at garage sales as long as you had the proper licensing, but that's changed a little bit since with the change in laws.
Yep.
It's a time consuming thing now, so you can't just cash and carry. But yeah, it used to be a thing for sure. Yep. We touched briefly on socket sets, but that is a high value item that you can usually get for cheap, unless the guy's super into his Husky tools or Snap-on or something. But run of the mill socket sets, $20 tops. I can't even imagine spending that much, but it's a thing.
Yep.
One thing we didn't touch on: jerry cans.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Good point.
Absolutely.
the blue, the
Can
yellow, or the
never
red.
have- Never have too many of that. You know, sitting there empty, you have capacity to add.
Well, and again, if the jerry can is missing something, that's an opportunity to get it super cheap. And then you go to Canadian Tire, buy the replacement kits, and they have all the spouts and the lids and the caps and stuff. And
Seals.
yeah, you'll get a discount for sure. Something for the handy people in the crowd, the small engines that may need repair. So that means anything to snowblower, to lawnmower, the splitter, chainsaws, anything that maybe has a clogged carburetor. They don't know what's wrong with it, but you can figure it out in 3 seconds. You can usually get something really cheap that might only be 20 minutes worth of repair time. Before you know it, you've got a really good deal on something.
That's a good point.
If you're handy on something. And usually, like I think Alan pointed out a few episodes ago, was like it's either gonna be spark, fuel, or air, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, worst case, you learn how to tear an engine apart, and
and YouTube's still operating for now, right? So until that gets
Yep.
shut down by the EMP / worldwide war or something that's started via Ukraine. I mean, yeah, you're still gonna have access to the world's best educational tool right now, which is like video tutorials.
Yep.
So
Also,
why not?
keep your eyes open for Haynes manuals at those garage sales.
oh, good call.
Yeah, good point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Throw that in, like kind of throw that in with the
Tremendous.
textbooks, but the Haynes manuals, and even if you don't have that vehicle currently, if you've got a collection of those things and somebody else needs a hand with something and you have a resource, then perhaps that becomes a good barter tool.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I like it.
10 millimeter. Kyle says 10 millimeter sockets are probably going for $10. Well, if I was selling them, yes, but it's assuming I had spares to sell. But
Yeah.
There's no such
You
thing as
never
spare
have
10 mil
spares.
sockets.
No.
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
same
how
with
come they don't
half-inch.
actually sell like individual sockets like that? Like just
Well, they do.
a
Princess
10
Auto
pack
does.
of 10 mils.
Yeah,
Do
they're
they?
way
Canadian
overpriced.
Tire does too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canadian Tire does too. You can probably order them on Amazon for 1/10 of the price and throw away quality. So
Yeah.
Oh man, because I could use a 10 pack of those things. I swear to God. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So we talked about buckets, but hoses for everything from firefighting, watering your plants, gardens, whatever. There's multiple uses for hoses, animal watering, but
just expect it to be a soaker hose.
yeah, I mean,
Holes in
even if it
But
is,
even if you got to cut it down and put new ends on it, then that's still worth it. Same with extension cords, right? Even if it's not in great, if there's a damaged section, you can cut that out, put a couple of new ends on it. You've got 2 smaller extension cords. It's still a good deal.
yeah, because especially like the price of hoses. But if you recognize the cheap hoses versus the expensive like reinforced ones, it's not hard to tell, and it might be a good deal. It might be the same price as the cheap Walmart version hose. So yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Gardening supplies and seeds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good one.
Yeah, everything from like heritage seeds. Maybe somebody wants to get rid of a bunch of mint plants, and you want to have like mojito night or something. I mean, who knows, right? There might be something behind the house that they're willing to sell. That if you start talking about gardening stuff and maybe little hand trowels or hose or rakes.
Can we use mint in quotation marks for that?
Yeah, or they might have a herb of various sorts they might want to sell around behind the house. Who knows, right? I mean,
Yeah, come see my oregano collection. Yeah.
yes, cash donation. I can't sell to you, but I can take a donation. Yeah.
If you buy this
I think
newspaper for $25.
Yeah. Oh, I think somebody actually mentioned the donation thing up top too. That was kind of funny.
They did.
Yeah. Anyway, so
in
Dave's got
terms
a
of
good
the
point.
Oh, sorry, I was going to just jump in with the gardening tools and
Go ahead.
stuff. If you end up having duplicates of stuff, recognizing that it might not just be you running a garden. If you have a couple of people as part of your mag who are all working on your garden, having duplicates of things is not a bad idea.
you never have too many hoes. That's what I always say.
Oh boy, Dave's got a good point in the live chat. Keep your eye out for like atlases, road maps. Great idea to look for.
Oh, hard copies of maps is perfect.
Especially the back roads ones.
That's right. There were stick shifts for millennial anti-theft devices.
Yep.
Paper maps. What do you mean I don't have a phone? Yeah. So animal feeders. So while you're at the garage sale, and they might have anything from a chicken water to a dog dish to leashes, harnesses, whatever floats your boat. I mean, the price of a leash nowadays is $20-$25. I mean, which is really a 50-cent item. So yeah, if you have any sort of animals you need to control. Or if you're Eric, you need to.
I was just gonna say, don't even. I
was
For
too
fun and
slow
games?
on the mute button to get into that.
Oh yeah. So
Here we go.
what can I say? Like, anyway, so whatever floats your boat, Eric. There's no judgment here. There's no king.
Hey.
So anyway,
I
yeah.
I
got
did
it.
not agree
I
to
got
those
it.
terms. I judge.
Okay. So yeah, animal feeders and accessories, like anything from like a feed hopper for chickens and stuff. We're talking like $35 now at the local feed store for just like a chicken feeder that actually has like a hopper on top and stuff and feeds the chickens. Again, tops a $5 item at the garage sale. And so yeah, save yourself some money there. Never buy new if you can help it. I think one of the guys even mentioned it in the chat here, but I also added at the very end here was camping gear. Solid idea. Like for the price of a tent, new versus hopefully it doesn't have too many holes, but that's what duct tape's for. Camping gear. Why not? Could be sleeping bags, could be whatever.
Tarps, a lot of garage sales. You'll see people selling older tarps and stuff. They can be, like as a camping gear, cover over a tent, or in a worst case scenario, just use the tarp for shelter.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of good ideas here. Rome 1 says old cookbooks.
Oh yeah.
Oil lamps. Yeah, I actually bought a oil lamp at the garage sale. That was kind of a neat idea. Jumper cables, solar lamps. Let's see here. And of course, Davey asked if the maps actually come on paper. Yes, they do. It turns out.
Weird.
Actually, back in the I think
according to Melissa.
Well, back in the day, you actually could send away to Topographics Canada or whatever, and get like topographic maps for your area. I don't know if they still do that anymore, but they used to actually send you paper maps for free. I'm sure they charge you now, but
yeah, it's definitely
Probably.
a chargeable item now.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's government.
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had.
I love entertainment stuff. Picture going to a cottage and having that shelf with the board games, the outdoor games. Going to your point, Alan, boredom kills.
Lawn darts.
Lawn darts, exactly.
throw,
The old school
lawn
dangerous
darts out
ones.
Oh, those are so fun.
Lawn darts. That's like dual purpose. It's fun in the daytime and like smoking zombies at night.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, she has defense items, whatever. But that also brings up I haven't even thought about this. Fishing rods. Yeah, like you buy old fishing rods.
Yeah,
versus
for
what
sure.
you pay in the store for new. So
I also like having duplicate items for, if your cottage is your bug out location. If it's we're in austere times and you're traveling under duress to get to your bug out location, you're not going to bring your hand drill with you. So if you have some old tools in duplicate that are already there, if you're buying them at a garage sale, that's perfect, right? So I love old technology. I love, sort of stuff that was built out of solid metal instead of like bent sheet metal.
Makes me feel young again.
Oh, the good old days.
But by the same token, it's less like, if you've got a hand drill sitting at the cottage, who's going to steal it? Like, they could literally break into your tool shed and be like, what do I want with that?
Yeah.
Laugh at it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's less likely to be stolen if it's old, used, and just sitting in dusty in the corner. So
The only person I can think of that would steal it, Jeff.
Or Scott.
I
well,
was gonna
Jeff would
say
only
Scott.
steal it. To be fair, Eric, Jeff would only steal it from your house.
Right. I forgot about that stipulation. Yeah.
Valid point.
Going back to the, looking at estate sales, or someone is getting out of a hobby, and it's great when you can buy a whole collection of things that all go together, and you have all the parts you need for whatever it is, be it sewing, be it radio, be it hand tools, be it camping gear, but you're sort of buying a collection of stuff. So you're buying the camp stove and the pots and some cooking utensils. So it's kind of nice to be able to get those collection of things all together as opposed to having to piecemeal buy them all. And I think it was Dan pointed out that I should mention typewriters because, exactly, that old technology that's still going to work no matter what after the fact.
That just in case you have to fill out some government forms or what?
I'm going to be the government. I have to create my forms. It's going to look more official if it's done on a typewriter.
The Republic of Scott?
Exactly.
Fair enough.
I have to make passports. Like, it's going to be a lot of work.
I basically kept my list incredibly simple. Anything that you think you need. If you're at that garage sale and you see whatever it may be it a hand tool, be it something, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I think I could use that, or I think I need that. Remembering that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, and the price is right and it's there. Grab it, because if you don't, you'll probably will regret it later.
Yep.
You know, your list could be endless, but if it's something that is a gap in your preps and you see it, grab it.
Yep. It's a good point.
I can agree with that one. So like everybody here, I had cast iron anything. Again, hand tools, barbecue tools, shit hits. You need some extra barbecue tools. Your neighbor needs some for, you can barter with them.
Yes.
Like Melissa said there in the chat, Pierce's wool blankets. Well, I had it on my list as well. Those things are great. Quality battery charger. A lot of the ones nowadays are kind of crap. The older ones work really well. They usually have more power than some of the newer ones anyways.
That's a really good point.
Lumber.
Yeah, and they don't have that kind of, I don't know the word for it. I'm thinking like a check valve thing, but if the battery's really low, it won't charge it because it says, wait a minute, that battery's too low. But you want the charge on it. So you need something that's going to bypass that system, and it's actually going to put the charge in the battery.
Yep.
My dad has bought many chargers over the years. When they sold their farm not long ago, the people who bought it, he came in with an old battery charger. That thing is heavy, makes a hell of a lot of noise. The lights dim when you plug it in, but god damn it, it still works, and it'll charge anything.
I was going to say, and it'll charge anything. Yep.
Yeah, as long as it's 12 volt. It's not one of those fancy ones you can switch around. It's just 12 volt, but it'll charge anything. Mm-hmm. Lumber. Need I say more with costs?
Yeah.
Well, you can find some cheap lumber somewhere, buy it.
And especially if you get broken windows for reasons.
Yes.
I mean, quick window repair, even, reinforcing stuff. I mean, there's always reasons for lumber around, and, when you need it and it's not available, it's a bugger. Like, maybe in Hughes's case, when your hurricane's coming in, everybody goes to the lumber or the sheets of plywood all at the same time.
Yeah.
If you can get a few spare sheets hanging around, that's fantastic.
And if you don't have room to store the full sheet, cut them in half. You can still put them back. Well, not put them back together, but you can still manage to do something over a large window with 2 half sheets rather than one full sheet, especially if you're older or you have a small place and you don't have a lot of room to store it. You can still store something.
Yeah, it's hard to get a full sheet up into the garage rafters, but easy to get a half sheet up there, right?
Exactly. Camping gear, like everybody else said, jack all jacks and come alongs.
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke there, but
I know.
Don't.
I was thinking of how else can I put that. I'm like, no, just going to do it like that.
Yeah.
Again, canning supplies, from everybody said it. Eric, you had it right, of CB and ham radio equipment, all the antenna, wire, power supplies, somebody's books and logs of who they've contacted on what frequencies.
Yeah.
Somebody you can contact if you have a license, and in times of peril, there's no license required, but you can still contact them.
That's actually a really good point. You could go over that and see kind of if there's any popular areas that they were chatting on, and if there's any kind of pattern to it. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm glad Melissa clarified. She says you can use tampons as well, but obviously not used. Well, it's kind of like condoms. They're more of a single-use item. They're like generally not a good idea to reuse those.
Absolutely. Ian, you had said it. Small engine stuff. Compressors, generators, welders. If it doesn't work and you think you can fix it, grab it. You might be able to flip profit.
Yeah, myself included. It's either it comes down to a time or knowledge thing that, sometimes it's just not worth your time to fix it, but to somebody else, it might be an easy fix, right?
Yeah, and if it's a good deal, you might be able to pick it up for $50, bring it to, in my case, my brother-in-law does small engine stuff, have him fix it for another $50 and flip it and sell it for $300.
Especially if you got the spares lying around too.
Yes.
Non-used TP, it's always a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In this day and age, who's going to sell TP? I mean, seriously.
I'm rather enjoying the live chat tonight.
Yeah.
There's lots
again,
of gold lines
like
in
everybody said, gardening tools and supplies. Chainsaw and equipment. all the safety equipment, helmet, earmuffs, glasses, chaps, pants, files, gas cans, oil,
Well,
the
especially
engine oil and the bar oil.
yeah, with this oil thing going on. But I mean, the files. I mean, how often do files actually wear out? So I mean, if you buy a file that's like, I don't know, 20 years old, it's probably going to be still almost as good as new, right? Because it's super hard steel. It never
Probably
never
better
really,
than anything you can buy now.
yeah, it probably never really gets worn down. So I mean, why not? And
Yeah,
for the price you're
absolutely.
charging for new ones.
I have found be careful of what you ask for in whose presence.
Yeah.
If you're interested in one thing, somebody might be interested in it as well, and you get a bidding war going on, and now people are interested in what you're looking at, and never mind it then. Feel out the crowd if there is one. See if everybody's really interested in 5 or 6 different things, or everybody's going for something, and you might be able to make a deal with somebody who's not interested in selling. But like if everybody's interested in all the canning supplies and you're interested in the hand tools, the person selling might be willing to make a deal with you to get you out of their way so they can go back to the bidding war and the canning supplies. You might be able to get a better deal.
It's true. A little distraction action.
Right.
Don't and again, don't seem too anxious about purchasing anything, especially if there's no price tags on something. The price will jump. You get out of your car and, hey, look at that. That's a generator I've been looking for forever. Well, before you can get to it, buddy's ripped the price tag of $100 off and put $400 on it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Well, and like your next point there too is like, yeah, don't let your eyes get too wide if you see something that's worth something to you, right?
Yeah.
Poker face.
Yep.
Yeah. Coins.
Yeah.
Coins, quality jewelry. I think everybody said it already. Reference books, handyman and how-to books. Silver and gold, anything, as long as it's pure. But I don't know how to check that.
Well, and again, like just quick YouTube video away from figuring out how to figure out purity of silver. There should be a stamp on the back, 995, 999, or 725 or whatever. They'll tell you exactly the percentage of silver generally stamped somewhere on it, whether it be like a candelabra, dinnerware, anything. Like if it's silver, you'll know. Even on the back of a plate, it'll give you like the percentage of silver, and yeah, you'd be shocked at how much stuff is out there still. Not so much coins anymore. Like the junk silver thing is kind of like a bit of an internet trope now when it comes to prepping. But when it comes to the non-obvious items, there's still a lot of deals out there. Even bracelets, silver bracelets. Like up until recently, like silver was so cheap that nobody really thought much of it. But
yeah.
Like
Melissa said, they're jumper cables. Quality pair of jumper cables can sometimes go for pretty cheap.
And again, even if you don't want to use with jumper cables, that's nice thick cable for anything from solar systems to whatever. I mean, like or RV systems, whatever. It's huge gauge, that cable, right?
Yeah. And I'm thinking more like Scott said, if your bug out location is your cabin, have extras there. Yeah. Buy 2 or 3 sets of cables for $5 a piece. It's only $5. Put one in your car, one at home, one in your bug out location.
Leave it to Pierre to give us good advice. Show up aggressive at the sale and intimidating. You'll probably get a better price if they're scared of you, just to get you away from them.
That's one tactic to try.
Okay, sure. Just give them the old 50 PSI.
So between
either that or you haven't showered for a week and they just want to get rid of you.
So between Pierre's aggression and Melissa's
surreptitious deals.
Yes, they make
rope, jumper cables, and clothespins. I don't know, man.
All I can say is I want to go hang with them for a lot more often.
Yeah, more fun than you guys.
Yeah, they sound like super fun people. So
yeah, you never leave their house hungry, and you never leave without sore abs.
Well, it's a good thing you clarified that last word,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, abs. Okay. Abs. Yes.
I do want to shout out Pierre's comment from a little further up in the chat. Also, if you buy a good extension cord, put on a bunch of electrical tape so it looks damaged, and people won't try and steal it.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant.
100%.
That's absolutely true, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the great bad theory for tools.
So I had here anything with a core in it, like an alternator, a starter, you can return the core.
Even old batteries that don't work.
There you go.
Mhm.
Pick them
20
all up.
bucks for
Make
a core.
make a little bit of cash. You spent $5 on buying an alternator. You can take it back and make $50 on a core.
That's a good point.
More money for your beer and preps.
Yep.
And in that
Manual-
order too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? A manual
Order is
lawnmower.
everything. Yep.
A manual lawnmower.
Yep.
Does
Alternator
any-
belts.
Well, the manual lawnmower. So those are all blades. Like they spin when you push them, right? They're like a geared system. How in the heck do you sharpen those things?
File.
Carefully, but
With a file
with
or
a
grinder?
file, like a
Back in my day,
no, seriously,
go.
like is there like a specific angle, like a chainsaw? Like how do they do those things? I've never actually even seen anybody actually try and like recondition one.
I saw one guy take an old manual lawnmower. It was a little bit rusty. He went out and cut grass with it, and by the time he was done, it was sharp.
Yeah, interesting. So I mean, it's one of those things that's going to last forever because it's probably built with quality. But
Yep.
I don't know, the ins and outs of one of those. But
Alternator belts or vehicle belts.
Yep.
Even if you don't have the size, somebody else might, and they're great for making your own homemade bicycle powered generator with the correct alternator belts. Charcoal and barbecue tanks. We talked about that earlier. Barbecue tanks, you can use them for different things. Everybody has, I'm assuming everybody knows the trick of drink trays and egg cartons. If you burn them slowly, like smoke them, they work great as mosquito repellents.
really,
Yeah. The egg cartons at Costco, right? There's those square 30 egg carton. They come in two, sandwich between them. Take a lighter, light the corner of it, let it burn for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, blow it out. It will keep smoking for quite some time, like smoldering.
yeah.
And the smoke will keep a lot of mosquitoes away. We have a stack of them around. Go out in the
Interesting.
backyard on a muggy night, throw two of those on under the canopy. You're laughing for a while.
Well, interesting because like occasionally we'll get our customers bringing back the egg cartons that we've sold our eggs to them in, and they just had to crack their eggs and then throw the wet eggshells back into the egg carton. So of course you can't use it again, right? So we've been using them for fire starters, but I was like, that's actually a good idea too for the mosquito repellent.
Yeah, I made fire starters out of egg cartons before.
Yep.
What else here? Hand-powered kitchen tools, winemaking equipment can be used for lots of different things, not just wine. It's all the same equipment.
The bottling press alone, I mean, just to get the cork in the bottle of stuff, that's a good way to seal stuff, not just for messages on the ocean.
Also, we could give it to one of our friends who knows how to use it, and maybe they will make us some stuff with it.
Yes, some distilled stuff.
There
Pure
you go.
water. Pure water is at a premium. I heard.
Distilled
Pure water. Distilled
And
water.
I had beeswax candles, or candles of any kind, really. But if you know somebody who makes the beeswax candles or is selling them, they may be selling the equipment to make them as well. A good hobby, good side gig, if you can figure out how to do it. That was it.
Well,
Well,
it's certainly an extensive list.
So
we
what
pretty
we're
much
saying is
covered
we all
everything.
need to attend more garage sales.
Yes.
Yep.
We are in the height of garage sale season. This is perfect.
We certainly are. So it's time to head out, find some deals, and of course, let us know if you find something.
Or just hover around the old folks' home, and then about every week there's probably going to be an estate sale.
Wow, that got dark really quick. Yeah.
Well, it's okay to be like a garage sale ghoul sometimes. I mean, you might get a good deal. We call the nearby town that's full of retirees. We call it Heaven's Waiting Room. I mean, for a reason.
Okay.
What was that line from the Christmas Carol? We don't pay extra for the warmth.
Oh boy, this is going downhill real quick. Let's get into the podcast
Is
challenge.
it practical or not? I mean, come on, let's be practical about these things. So,
Oy. So, podcast challenge.
Yep.
Patch some holes in your prep gear. Go to at least 3 garage sales with some small bills, and see what kind of deal you can have with yourself.
There you go. All right, upcoming events. So we've got the annual Preppers Meet coming up in Desboro, Ontario, July the 7th to the 10th. Check out annualpreppersmeet.com. I will be there on Friday presenting at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to nerd out on ham radio. So if anybody wants to come out and join my presentation, come on out. And if you want to come out for the whole thing, go for it.
You're going to talk about ham radio? Come on. That's
I know it's weird. I got a lot to read up on. Yeah, I picked that out of the hat.
Better
That's
get
what I got
that
stuck
lesson
with.
plan ready.
Yeah, easy, Jeff. I'll get there.
And I've got one came from one of our Discord users, Denny. It's in the Upper Michigan area, the Great Lakes Emergency Preparedness Expo. It is obviously, as I said, in Michigan, actually a town called Imlay City, Imlay, Imlay City. The 17th of September, 2022. Links in the show notes if anybody wants to have a look at it.
TACOM Canada, September 9th to 11th in Mississauga. Basically a trade show for gunnies and preppers, I guess, for lack of a better term. So TACOMcanada.com and check it out.
Awesome. So we got a weather blurb from Jeff tonight.
Sure. So things have been fairly calm this week. I will not use the Q word. I know better than that. There have been some thunderstorms in Manitoba, Northern Ontario, but they did not reach the severe range. Heat continues. Obviously, that can lead to the development of severe storms. But for now, there's nothing to indicate any sort of a severe weather outbreak. There is a large swath of central Alberta and western Saskatchewan that are under some severe thunderstorm watches. And BC, a large section of BC is under a special weather statement for high heat.
Can confirm.
AKA Ian's no air conditioner.
Yeah. Yeah, we went from January to extreme heat in about 2 days. Anyway.
It is summer.
Yeah, finally. But now I'm complaining about the heat instead of the cold.
Right.
Deal of the week. So, not to be confused with Derek Zoolander's infamous stare, the Magnum storage boxes are a nested set of 3 storage boxes, orange poly. I'd call them ammo cans, but Cabela's being politically correct calls them poly storage boxes. There is a 3 set on for $24.99, which is 50% off. It's the 30 cal size, the 50 cal size, and the ludicrously large size, which kind of fits all of them inside. Kind of like Matryoshka dolls for preppers. Anyway.
Do they actually call it the ludicrously large size?
Well, that's just my pet name for it. Cabela's.ca, links in the show notes.
Awesome. All right, email at iTunes reviews. So we do have a couple of iTunes reviews. I'll read out the first one here. It is from Pat9526. It says, "Hey, I really enjoyed your latest show. I just wanted to let you know that there's a guy here in central Newfoundland where I live that got a hydroponic greenhouse. You can find him on Facebook at Papa's Farm. I'm sure that he would love to talk to you about it. Looking forward to the next show, guys. Keep up the amazing work."
Yeah, but don't you know if we get somebody on from Newfoundland, we're never going to understand a word he says by.
What? Huh?
Huh? What?
Exactly.
Did somebody just say something?
And he'll be a half an hour late for the show.
Yeah, don't get crooked there, Ray. Anyway.
Oh boy, you want to take the next review there again?
I sure will, but yeah, definitely we'll get a hold of Papa's Farm and see if maybe he wants to come on. Maybe. All right, I got a great show. Been listening for a couple months now, mostly while I'm standing at work. Hopefully it's not standing. Anyways, slowly working backwards through the catalog. Highly informative, very relevant, and even occasionally funny. Well, that hurts a little bit. Just kidding. Always entertaining. You guys are great, and I really appreciate you guys putting the time to share your knowledge. And that's from Flotsam81.
Awesome. I think it says sanding at work.
That's what I read.
But so good. Appreciate the and they're both 5-star reviews, so I'll take it. I don't have to complain about any 1-stars. I haven't done that in a really long time.
It's been a really long time.
So with that, I'll bring episode number 167 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or of course your favorite podcast app. Please help us out. Submit a review. It does help other people find us.
We do record these shows live on Facebook and YouTube, as long as both platforms let us on. If you want an early peek at the show, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That gives you an alert when we're going live. We absolutely love having you in the having everybody in the live chat. It's a great time. So come on out, give us a show, give us something to talk about while we're live on the air.
The live chat's been fantastic tonight.
It's been fantastic tonight. Absolutely. If you want to reach me directly, you can get me at Alan, that's with one L, at prepperpodcast.ca.
And if you want to send anything for my information, it's feedback at prepperpodcast.ca.
Scott the Gray Man is also happy to just not exist.
Old timey man at gmail.com.
Send an email to
A carrier pigeon to my MySpace.
send an email to us, and we'll type it out on a typewriter. Put it in a St. Bernard's collar along with a wheat drop of medicinal brandy, and send it along the Northern Trail.
We'll type it out on a typewriter and send it via telegraph.
I was going to go with semaphore from the top of Eric's roof, but that's fine.
Oh, that's even better.
You guys know me so well. This is so heartwarming.
I learned
just
semaphore
fax
when
it
I
to
was a
him.
kid. What's
Well,
the fax?
maybe you can watch the show on his Betamax later on.
Oh boy.
I can be reached at batbradcpp@gmail.com.
All right, you can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. You can also find me occasionally on Canadian Patriot Podcast on iTunes and YouTube, recording Monday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm also in the Discord chat for both CPPs, and we'd love to have you join us. So email us if you want an invite to the Discord. Very lively chat, over 200 people in each Discord group, which is kind of cool. There you can find us discussing why government waste in society has been buying things gently used.
All right. Please check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. You can get me there on the live chat. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. Thanks for joining us this evening. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe,
And keep learning.